Hi, great morning. Today there is something interesting. As always, something exciting. But today I have been invited in this interesting app, which we also call radio app, Clubhouse. On this Clubhouse, there is an amazing community by the name of Business Success Mantra, and they have invited me to share my thoughts, rather my story, or rather the summary of my book before you jump into business. So now, in next few moments, we are going to start the book summary. It is on the Clubhouse, so it is on the mobile app. But I'm also recording a video for my viewers, for my followers, for those who need help in regards to startups, entrepreneurship. Those who may follow this on YouTube or maybe Facebook or any of the social media. So all of you just stay with me, and I'll be talking about this book, my journey, and then I'll be answering some questions about before you jump into business. So it's started.
Topics. So that is our main criteria in business success mantra, as we are reaching 1,400 days continuous non-stop in this Clubhouse platform. And for everybody's information, this is a great book before you jump into business. This is what every one of us in business success mantra club wanted desperately. On that, we thank Madhavrao for bringing such a great author and speaker to our forum today, not taking much of time. Just I'll do the room setting as a formality and I leave it to Madhavrao to continue the session. Business success mantra, ವ್ಯಾಪಾರದ ಯಶಸ್ವಿ ಮಂತ್ರ, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್, ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ 6:45 ರಿಂದ 7:55.
Most of the people belong to Kannada. So my language will be English, although they have asked me whether you are comfortable in Kannada. I said I can just use one word, that is namaskara, to start. So in next few moments we are going to start. Before you jump into business, the book is available on Amazon and Flipkart, but if you need my signed copy in a discounted price delivered at your place, check the details with this video. So now we are going to start. So it's a formal introduction which is going on. For your information, if some of you may not be aware what is Clubhouse, Clubhouse is a kind of a radio app. It's an audio app where there are no videos. It's not like a Zoom. It's not like Skype. It is on this interesting device. You can see some people have joined. There are almost 8,500 members on Clubhouse, and there are some entrepreneurs, some founders. They have started.
BSMಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 80% ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿನರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 1,400 ಡೇಸ್ ರಿಂದ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರತಿ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿನರ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ತರ ಸೀರಿಯಲ್ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ BSM ಅಲ್ಲಿ.
But I can get a vibe that they are talking about the community. They are an amazing community.
ಈ ತರ ಥಾಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಇರೋರಿಗೆ, ಅದೇ ತರ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ರನ್ ಮಾಡೋರಿಗೆ ಈ ಸೆಷನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಟೇಕ್ಅವೇಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಐ ಆಮ್ ವೆರಿ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿಸ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾವಣ್ಯ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ವಿಕ್ರಾಂತ್ ಸರ್. ಕಿರುಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ನನ್ನ ವಿನಂತಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Now they are going to introduce me.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್. ಶುಭೋದಯ. ಈ ದಿನ ನಮ್ಮೊಡನೆ ವಿಕ್ರಾಂತ್ ಭುಜಬಲರಾವ್ ಅವರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಬುಕ್ಕಿನ ಸಮ್ಮರಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ. ಇವರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, ಇವರು ಅಮೆಝಾನ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಲರ್ ಆಥರು, ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮೆಂಟರ್, ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಗುರು ಕೂಡ. ಅದಲ್ಲದೆ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್, ಮೆಂಟರಿಂಗ್, ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಯುಬೇಷನ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಆದಂತ YourSarthi ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ CEO ಮತ್ತು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದುವರೆಗೆ ಅವರು ಆಂಟ್ರಪ್ರಿನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ 2 ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳನ್ನ ಬರೆದು ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೂರನೆಯ ಬುಕ್ನ ತಯಾರಿ ಹಂತದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇವರಿಗೆ 17 ವರ್ಷದಷ್ಟು ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್, ಮೆಂಟರಿಂಗ್, ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ಆಂಟ್ರಪ್ರಿನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ.
I can get some words. I think those who are comfortable in English, they might be getting some words. Amazon bestseller, startup mentoring, business coaching, YourSarthi, idea evaluation.
ಕೋಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 500ಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಓನರ್ಸ್ ನ ಮೆಂಟರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದು ಇವರ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ MBA ಇನ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫಿನಾನ್ಸ್. ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್ಟಿಫೈಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ ಕೋಚ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟರ್. ಇವರು ಈ ದಿನ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಯು ಜಂಪ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಮಾಧವರಾವ್ ಸರ್, ಪ್ರಭಾಕರ್ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳ್ದಾಗೆ ಇವರೇ ಬರೆದಂತಹ ಪುಸ್ತಕ, ಇವರ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್, ಫೇಲ್ಯೂರು, ಬೌನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕು ಇವುಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ತಮ್ಮ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯನ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತಷ್ಟು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಉಪಯೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ಬುಕ್ ನ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಮತ್ತಷ್ಟು ವಿಕ್ರಮ್ ಭುಜಬಲರಾವ್ ಅವರ ಮಾತಿನಲ್ಲೇ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಈ ದಿನದ
I can get something good they are talking about. So it's in Kannada, but ಧನ್ಯವಾದ. Yeah, I think it's my turn. So stay tuned.
Mr. Vikrant, over to you, sir. Actually, up to 7:45. So it's a complete platform is yours. Please go ahead, sir.
Mic check. Am I audible?
Yeah, so very much clear.
Okay, so I hope my voice is loud and clear for everyone.
Yeah, it's a very clear, sir. It's very good.
Thanks a lot, Madhavrao. Thanks a lot. First of all, namaskara and shubhodaya. I'm really sorry, but I just have these 2 words which I can use in Kannada. Although this session will be purely in English, although we had a discussion that maybe I'm aware about this language, but no, I just had these 2 words which I have decided to start this session with. But first of all, thanks a lot this superb community called as Business Success Mantra. Thanks a lot Madhavrao, and thanks a lot the entire team who has invited me, given me the opportunity to share something about my book before you jump into business. Thanks a lot God for giving me another day, another opportunity where I can serve to some people through my experience, through my content. And thanks a lot my parents for bringing me to this beautiful planet called as Earth. So before taking much time, I want to say that next 45 minutes are gonna be super rocking, super energetic, super intellectual, super exciting, because I'm gonna talk about startups, I'm gonna talk about entrepreneurship, I'm gonna talk about funding, I'm gonna talk about idea validation, I'm gonna talk about why some startups they become unicorn, and there are some startups, in fact most of the startups, they fail. In a nutshell, I'm going to talk about my journey in the entrepreneurship, and I'm going to share a brief summary about my first book, Before You Jump Into Business. It is an Amazon bestseller book, and then I also published my second book, that is Survive Your Startup. Currently, I'm writing my third book on simplifying life, and I'm also writing my fourth book on scale up and growth. Professionally, I'm a business coach, I'm a startup mentor, and I work with entrepreneurs, business owners, founders to take their business idea product to the next level by working closely with them through my training programs, through my one-on-one mentoring, and also work with their teams, especially the leadership team, to make sure that the founder, the entrepreneur, and the leadership team are aligned. So this is my a professional background. It's been a decade, more than a decade. I've been working with more than thousands of entrepreneurs, founders. So today, I really feel great to start this session, and looking forward to answer your questions once I'm done with the brief summary in next 30 minutes. So how many of you are excited? If there is this option of using chat box where you can share your thoughts on how much excited you are, so that I'll be able to see your energies through this chat option. So let's start the session. Let's start this summary of Before You Jump Into Business. First of all, let me quickly share a brief story about how I became an author and why I have written this book. So there is a very simple, cute, interesting story. In 2019, that is before COVID, I was delivering a session in my ongoing training program. So we have a flagship training program called as Before You Jump Into Business, Be Your Own Boss. So the name of the program is Be Your Own Boss. It is for the aspiring entrepreneurs, and it is also for those who are those who are in the business. So before you jump into business, this book started with an interesting story. I was delivering my session, I was delivering my talk, and one of a mentee, one of the client, one of a student asked me, Vikrant, you have been working with so many entrepreneurs, you have been guiding to so many founders, business owners. You yourself are an entrepreneur, and you have been also into the corporates. You are an MBA. So why don't you write? And I was like, boss, I am good into speaking. I am a professional speaker. I love to educate people. I love to train. I love to coach. I love to motivate. I love to give direction to the people. I love to advise. That's my passion, and that's something I have been doing from so many years. I'm not good into writing. And he said, why don't you just start writing? I said, I don't know how to publish a book, how to decide the title of the book. I don't know how to design the content, how to do the proofreading. And then he said, you just start writing and things will start falling in place. We call it the law of attraction, or the universe support, if you really want to do something. And for your surprise, I have literally attracted a great publisher come mentor who pushed me, who supported me, and who guided me to become an author. So that was the story how I became an author. Now most important is why I have decided to write this book called as Before You Jump Into Business. If you carefully see the title of this book, the title of the book says, Before You Jump Into Business, 7 steps you should know if you are thinking of starting up. 7 steps you should know if you are thinking of starting up. So this book I have written because I'm sure some of you or most of you have already done a kind of a research on Google about me, about my experience, about my profile. If you have not done, you can immediately join me on LinkedIn. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. So now you will see that I am into a professional speaking, or I'm a professional coach, I'm an author, I'm a bestseller author. But there is a backstory, and the backstory is I jumped into business in 2010, starting my first venture under the category of health food by the name of Dr. You. And to be very, very honest with you guys, I failed in the business. We were not able to make it in spite of investing 5 years, in spite of almost investing 5 million. We failed. And because of that, I faced a lot of things. Because of that, I have gone through a lot of pain, a lot of challenges. And I didn't want anyone to go through those challenges which I am facing. So that's the reason I decided to write my first book, targeting only to those people who are either students, who are either working professionals, who are in the early stage of their business, who have some ideas, who have identified some problems in the market, who want to do any traditional business, or who want to get into an innovative tech-based business. But the problem is they may not have the business background, they may not have the right guidance. So that's the reason I have decided to write this book, Before You Jump Into Business. Now this book is a simple guide to all those people who want to start up. So, but if you carefully read the title, it is before you jump into business. And purposely I have used the word jump, because in my observation, in my personal experience, I have seen that many entrepreneurs, especially those who don't have a family business background or those who don't belong to a B school category or those who have never been exposed to businesses, they jump into business because of excitement and most of the businesses fail. According to Forbes, 99% of the businesses, startups fail. So what are the reasons? Why there are some companies like Amazon, like Flipkart, like Google, like Facebook, like Instagram, like Tesla, why these companies, they grow from a startup level to an unicorn level, and there are many, in fact you may not be aware, there are many of the startups. Hello.
Mr. Vikrant.
Yes, Madhura.
Yeah, actually your voice is not audible. If you don't mind, can you leave quietly and come back?
Sure. I'll join back. Sure.
Yeah.
Just he will come back. Mr. Vikrant, please go ahead. Actually,
Mic check. Am I
we
audible?
heard up to you failure about that your business, first business.
Okay. Am I audible now?
It's a very clear, sir.
Okay. So let me restart again. So the reason why I decided to write this book, because I failed in my first venture. What were the reasons why I failed? What were those what were those secrets which we were not aware as an entrepreneur, and that was the reason we failed. So I have actually written down this story in the first chapter. That, and interesting part is the name of the chapter is the third chapter. I jumped into business blindly without reading this. You know what happened? So this is the third chapter, and this third chapter I have written the story why exactly we failed. What is the story? By the way, just let me tell you, those who might face some disturbance in this Clubhouse session, I am also recording a video of this session which will be also uploaded on YouTube. So if you, by any chance, if you miss this, you can anyways check the entire session on YouTube as well. So coming back to this, third chapter is I jumped into business blindly without reading this. You know what happened? So that's something interesting. And that is the motive, that is the intent why I have written this book. I don't want you guys to fail. I don't want you guys to go through that pain, through that agony, through that suffering, which I have experienced as a failure. That's a different story at this stage. Now I am not a failure. I have crossed that stage and I have reached at a good level. But there was a time when the idea didn't work. There was a time the money was lost, and there was a time there were a lot of challenges on a personal level, on a family level. How many of you are able to relate, or you may have read such books, or you might have, you yourself might have gone through the I think there is some technical glitch. Mic check. Am I audible, Madhura?
Yeah, so please go ahead, sir.
Okay. I think there was some technical glitch. Okay, so I repeat, some of you might be aware, some of you might have already read, some of you might have experienced failing either in the entrepreneurship, failing either in your job, or maybe in your relationships or in your career. So what is a failure? It's very challenging. So the intention, the motive behind writing this book. Thanks, Prabhakar, for your message. I am reading your messages, guys. You can write the messages, and of course we will be opening the window for the Q&A session, so there you can ask the questions. But as of now, whenever I ask you any question, you can just use the chat box. So let me just start the exact session about this book. Now I have shared how this book has taken a birth in this world and why I have written this book. My intention is you should succeed. My intention is you should go to the right levels. My intention is that you should be able to make sure that you take your startup to the right level. So let's start. So the first chapter is about motivating, about inspiring, and about giving an awareness to all those people who are not aware about entrepreneurship. In the entrepreneurship, in the Indian context, I see there are a lot of people when they get into, in that zone of deciding a career, mostly they either think about becoming a doctor or an engineer or getting into an IT or maybe getting into a corporate job, or worst case a job maybe in a startup world. But very few dare about starting their own business. So the first chapter is Be Your Own Boss, a rewarding career choice, which I guess no one told you. I feel there is less awareness. I feel there is less motivation in the Indian ecosystem, and that's the reason very few people start up. I do agree that there are a lot of changes. I am part of a lot of startup incubation. I'm a part of a lot of startup accelerator. I'm connected with a lot of investor. I myself invest in a lot of startups. So the things are changing. But if you carefully observe the ratio, very few people get into this journey of entrepreneurship. So the first chapter is about entrepreneurship, a great career opportunity, a great career choice, provided you should know the steps. So this chapter is dedicated only and only for those who have never started or who don't have the motivation or the support system, or someone who can push them, who can give them the idea about how entrepreneurship can also be a career option. So first chapter is about that. Second chapter, where I have the title itself will give you an adrenaline rush. The name of the chapter is Why Not? Of course you can. The name of the chapter is Why Not? Of course you can. So a lot of you may be able to relate. Whenever we think, or whenever we ideate, or whenever we decide about doing something great, or if we want to change the world, or if we want to quit the job and if we want to get into a business, there is a fear of unknown, fear of failure, or call it a fear of not succeeding. So my question to you, all of you, I want you to write in the chat box, if you are listening to this carefully, I want you to acknowledge this. Why not? It's one life. And I personally feel, of course you can. If a simple man who doesn't belong to a business family. So I am a first generation entrepreneur. Since childhood, I have been observing that the dominant community, at least in Maharashtra. So I am speaking from Nasik, Pune, Mumbai, Maharashtra. So my observation is that most of the people who get into business are either from the Marwadi community, Sindhi community, Gujarati community. But there are very few people, those who belong to my category, that is, call it Maharashtrian category. So there are very few people who get into this. So my question to you is, why not? You can, definitely. And I personally want to take this opportunity to motivate all of you, those who are in a job or those who are, maybe you might be studying in college or you might be in a retired thing, but you may have never experienced this entrepreneurship journey. So of course you can. You just have to have a good idea. You should be able to get some good guidance from a right mentor, or you should be doing some courses to get the exact idea of entrepreneurship. And worst case, if you're not able to get a mentor or if you're not able to enroll for any training program, then you must read this book before you jump into business. I will be sharing a lot of details in the chat box, and Madhavrao will also share the details. If any one of you want to get the copy of my book, I'll be personally sending the author signed copy to all those who are listening to this and who reach out to my team. So I'll be sharing the details. So the first chapter is Before You Be Your Own Boss. It's a rewarding career choice, which I guess no one told you. Second is Why Not? Of course you can. And third chapter is about I jumped into business blindly without reading this. And you know what happened? And the answer is we failed. We were 3 co-founders. We started a health food chain by the name of Dr. You. And this is a story about 2010. We started this business with a lot of enthusiasm, with a lot of excitement, with a lot of energies. We did a lot of things, but unfortunately losing 5 years, losing 5 millions, and most importantly, the confidence. And because of that, we have to go through the failure. And there were a lot of mistakes we committed, which I don't want you to repeat. So that's the reason the next chapters are about what should be those exact steps you should take before you jump into business. So the chapter number 4, the step number 1. Now listen to this very, very carefully. Before I start this section, I just want to take the reconfirmation about my voice quality, about whether you guys are actively listening, whether you guys are facing any challenge, because next 20 minutes are gonna be most important because they are gonna give you the exact idea, the steps. So Madhavrao, can you please give me a confirmation whether my voice and everything is absolutely perfect?
Perfect, sir. So please go ahead. Is everything fine?
Thank you, Madhavrao. So guys, chapter number 4 and step number 1. When I ask this question in my training programs, that can be online training programs or whenever I have been invited on the stage, when I ask this to the audience, a lot of people say that you should have a great product. Some people say that you should have a great idea. Some of them says you should have the market validation, and there are a lot of thoughts. I see there are many people who are over here. Could you please share your thoughts in the chat box? What do you think? What should be the step 1 before you jump into business? And yes, most importantly, I don't want them to type in the chat box who already have a copy of my book. So if you have read my book, I don't want you to type in the chat box. But if you have not read, okay, Basavraj says passion. Thanks, Basavraj. Great to know. What about others? What are your thoughts? What are your ideas about what should be the first step if you want to start up? Wesley says sales start when the customer says no. That's good thoughts, Wesley. It is about the sales. But I want to know what should be the first step. According to you, what should be the first step before you jump into business? Exactly that stage I'm talking about. Jahan pe we committed a lot of mistakes. Okay, Ramesh says planning and groundwork. Wesley says self-belief. Amazing, guys. Amazing. I am really feeling blessed to have such an intelligent audience. Superb. In fact, in today's session, like my earlier session, I am getting to learn a lot of new things, which I'll be implementing in my entrepreneurship journey. Paramesh says market research. Amazing. Karimullah says, find what you do first. Superb, guys. Superb. Thanks a lot for sharing. Now let me share what I have written and what are my thoughts. Chapter number 4, step number 1 is about prepare your mindset. It is not about the product. It is not about the sales. It is not about those marketing strategies. It is not about the digital marketing. It is not about the funds. It is not about the right team. It is not about that. The first crucial step is about preparing your mindset. A lot of people skip this step. They don't work on their mindset. They work in a corporate at a higher position, or they work maybe in a startup, and suddenly they feel excited that, okay, I have a lot of experience, of a corporate experience. Now I can start my own business. No, that's not going to help, because when you were working in the corporate, you were with a bunch of people who were doing jobs. You might be working with really hardworking people, but you were with the set of people, you were in the environment of the people who are job mindset people. How many of you agree to this? Just type in the chat box. No matter you might be working in a top-notch company, no matter you might be working at a VP level position, no matter you might be getting a lot of exposure, but most importantly, you have never tasted what is entrepreneurship. You have never taken risks. Thanks, Solar, Somu. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Nagaraj. Thanks for your messages. So, the first step is prepare your mindset. The first eligibility criteria to get into this beautiful journey of entrepreneurship is preparing your mindset. When I say mindset, it is the thought process. And what is the right mindset? Right mindset is nothing but, I'm going to ask you some question. Think about it. If you have a pen and paper, please note it down over there. If you don't have a pen and paper, you can type in the chat box. That is also an amazing way to introspect. If you have not started, if you are not an entrepreneur, or if you are in the early stage, the question you have to ask yourself before you jump into business is, do you love to take risks? Or do you like to take risks? I just want you to type in the chat box. My question is, do you love to take risks? Do you like to take risks? Mic check, am I audible? Okay.
It's audible.
Yes. Thanks, Suguna. Thanks, Prabhakar. Superb thoughts, guys. Superb thoughts. So, guys, if you love to take risks, if you like to take risks, or at least if you want to learn how to take risks, you are qualified to become an entrepreneur. That is the first criteria. It is not about how much you are educated. It is not about how much experience you have. It is not about how much you know. It is also not about how many books you read. It is also not about how many courses you do. It is not about how many videos, reels you watch. It is not about that. The first eligibility criteria is, do you love to take risks? Look, observe, and carefully do a research on all the successful, great people in this world. They may be in the entrepreneurship. They may be in the field of acting, Bollywood, Hollywood, Tollywood. They may be in the field of sports. You might have seen Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma hitting those sixes. Every time, if you observe people who are successful, the biggest element, the common element is they take risks. I'm not saying they might love to take risks. Some of them may be scared, like you guys. But Vibhakar said rightly, the biggest risk is not taking the risk. So guys, the first question and the most important aspect of the right mindset, which is my fourth chapter, is, do you love to take risks? Do you like to take risks? That is the first criteria. Second is, do you get bogged down? Do you feel a setback when things doesn't happen as per your plan? Then this game is not for you. Entrepreneurship startups is for those who love to face challenges, who overcome the challenges, who at least like to accept that life is a part of challenges. And being in the business, being in the startups, being in the entrepreneurship, which is a game of complete uncertainty. So those who understand this, they have the right mindset. The first is risk-taking ability. Second is the attitude of warriorship. I call it the warriorship. And third is most important. Do you really get a kick? Do you really feel passionate about uncertainties? Because nothing is defined over here. In this journey, this is a vast ocean. The potential is amazing when you become an entrepreneur. It's huge. If you carefully observe, the billionaires of the world are entrepreneurs. If you carefully observe the Jeff Bezos, the Mukesh Ambani, or the CCD guys, and then the Swiggy guys from Bangalore, these people, or rather the interesting story of the Bansals. The other day I was talking to one of my mentees. I just asked him, when Flipkart was acquired by Walmart, and the founder, Bansal, when he sold his stake, I want you guys also to type in the chat box, how much was his stake in his own company Flipkart, and secondly, when he sold that stake, how much he earned. Absolutely, this data is based on what we read on Google, what we read on newspapers and all. But I want you to type in the chat box. So coming back to the point, do you have the right mindset? And once you actually qualify this criteria, the next is, do you have the skill sets? Most of the people, when I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, either they are doctors, or they might be from a technical background, they are mechanical engineer, or they might be, an IT engineer. But my question to them is, do you really think that entrepreneurship can be managed? Rather, you can succeed in this journey of entrepreneurship just by knowing technical skills? What do you think? Type in the chat box. Do you really think? I'm checking all your messages, guys. And meanwhile, I'm also sharing a message to all of you guys who need any help further. So there is a link of a chat box. You can just copy paste and you can become part of this free WhatsApp group where my team will guide you if you need any help. Am I audible? Madhavrao, am I audible? Mic check. Am I audible, Madhavrao? Mic check, mic check. Mic check, am I audible?
Actually, he asked for that. Actually, the fifth point or something skill set about not concluded. I think so. Mr. Vikrant is audible.
Mic check. Am I audible?
Yeah, please go ahead, sir. It's
Okay.
audible.
Okay. Can you help me where you guys have lost the connection?
Yeah, actually, you actually suggested to that regarding the skill set. So you mentioned that. So you that messages, no, you are expecting the messages from the audience.
Yes. Thanks a lot, Madhavrao. Madhavrao, can you just reconfirm? I have also shared a WhatsApp link where if any one of you need any help, is it there in the chat box?
So actually not shared that. So I will share it to that, sir.
Sure.
Share to that.
Sure. Okay. So thanks for sharing your thoughts. The step number 1 is preparing your mindset. In the mindset, the question is, do you love to take risks? And then under the category of skill sets, what do you think? Type in the chat box. What are the skills which you feel that an entrepreneur or a successful business owner must have to succeed in the business? You can type in the chat box. Thanks for sharing, Madhavrao. Madhavrao has shared a WhatsApp group. You can just click on that link and you will be part of a free WhatsApp group where you will get a lot of inputs and insights. Someone has shared people skills. Fantastic. Thanks a lot. What about others? What do you think? Determination. Superb. Amazing. What are your thoughts? Because I feel that most of you are experienced entrepreneurs. Some of you have been reading. Some of you have been listening to a lot of teamwork. Amazing, Madhavrao. Amazing. Superb. Madhavrao has been an amazing chap. I think the enthusiasm, the way he has, did all this coordination, it is amazing. Thanks a lot, Madhavrao. Superb. So guys, let me share some skill sets. The first and most important skill set is sell yourself. The skill of salesmanship. Fortunately, in my case, I completed my MBA in dual specialization, that is marketing and finance. And glad that I'm passionate about sales. I know what it takes to market your product. But when I started my own business, the first challenge I have observed is selling a product when you are working in a company. So especially I started my career in Kellogg's. So when I was selling Kellogg's ka product, the game was different because Kellogg's was already a brand. But when I started selling my own product under the category of Dr. U, it was just a startup. Very few people were aware. There was no TV ads. And I'm talking about those times where social media was also less. So the point is, selling is an ingredient. It's a very important skill, rather the most important skill if you want to start up. How many of you agree to this? You should be able to sell your product directly, indirectly. In fact, whenever you are appearing for an interview, you are actually selling yourself. Whenever you are talking to an investor, raising funds, you are selling yourself. Whenever you are onboarding any employee, you are selling yourself. I remember there are a lot of mentees, a lot of my clients, they complain to me, Vikrant, we are not able to attract good employees. We are not able to get good team in our company. How many of you are business owners, entrepreneurs, and you are able to relate with this problem? Rather, you also face the same problem. Can you type in the chat box? Nagraj. I appreciate, Nagraj, your brutal honesty. Amazing. Thanks a lot. Basavraj. Superb, Basavraj. Amazing. So guys, the reason, Ramdas Malia, the reason why some of you may not be able to attract right resource or a team or employees for your company is because you are not able to sell yourself. Now, I'm not saying you are not able to sell yourself means literally like a salesman, you go out and you are talking about your product. No, I am talking about the direct and indirect aura which you create through your energies, through your presentations, through your communications, through your office, through your interior design, through your website, through your app, through your social media presence, through your personal branding. All of this thing matters. Currently, I am also working with a real estate business, and they are facing this challenge of onboarding right people at right time. They do have good people, but now they are in the expansion. So I'm helping them to expand their business. So most importantly, guys, make sure that you have this skill within you if you are in the early stage of business or if you have not started. But if you have already started a business, if you are not able to attract right customers, if you are not able to attract right employees, if you are not able to attract right investors, if you are not able to attract right suppliers, the challenge, the flaw is in you. My friend, please accept it. And don't worry, you can change this. You can bring a change. You can literally groom, because mindset and skill sets are these two criteria where you can work on yourself. So I have written about what are the steps to, improvise your mindset. No problem if you don't have any family business background. No problem if nobody taught you in your school, college. No problem if you were in a job, you don't know the right mindset and the skill set, the selling ka skill. There are people like us, trainers, coaches. So in my Be Your Own Boss program, there is a separate sessions, rather 3 sessions on sales and marketing. So you will get all whatever you want, but provided you should accept that, okay, I want to learn. How many of you love to learn? Just type in the chat box. Love to learn. Because my observation is people who love to learn, they deserve to grow. How many of you agree to this? You can type in the chat box or in the comment section. Thanks, Madhavraj. Those who love to learn, those who, in fact, this can be, reframed as those who want to grow, they love to learn. I repeat, those who want to grow, they love to learn. Parmesh says, I love to learn. Amazing, guys, amazing. Because learning is the only route. It is that only road. यही रास्ता है through which you can eventually reach to success. How many of you agree to this? Type in the chat box. Meanwhile, I'll just have a sip of water. How many of you agree to this, that those who love to learn, they grow, they deserve to grow? In my personal experience, whenever I have this attitude, okay, I am an author, I am a trainer, I am a coach, I guide people, I fail. And whenever I tweak this attitude, okay, I'm a student, I'm a learner. I have written the book, I have addressed to thousands of people, that's a different story. But to survive, to succeed, I have to convince myself that I'm a student. Amazing, guys. Thanks for your chat box. It's really brilliant to see so many messages. Fabulous. So guys, chapter number 4, step 1, prepare your mindset. Chapter number 4, step 1, prepare your mindset. Chapter number 5, step number 2 is onboarding a mentor. So if you lack the mindset, if you lack the right skill set, you can onboard a mentor who will literally handhold you like your parents did when you were a kid. Someone helped you someone taught you to walk, someone somehow supported you when you were falling, someone guided you to, how to ride a bicycle, someone literally coached you to drive a car or a bike, someone literally guided you in every step of your life. My question to you is, in this challenging, uncertain game of entrepreneurship, business, startup, why do you think that you alone will manage everything? If you're managing it, hats off. But if somewhere in the corner of your heart, if you feel that you are not on a right track, or you are not growing, or your business is on not autopilot mode, or you are not able to align your vision, your thoughts with your team, then boss, it's time you should onboard a mentor. In fact, I personally guide to all the early stage startups, that is the right time to onboard. Because once you are in a business, once you get in that bad habit of deciding everything on your own, of doing everything on your own, managing everything on your own, I personally see people, they don't live life. They're somehow just lost in their entrepreneurship. They just work harder and harder. I'm not against of working harder. I'm saying business entrepreneurship is a part of your life. It is not your life. It's great to be passionate about what you do, but my recommendation is you should balance your life. I urge all of you to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and you will see my life. I'm not saying I'm successful, not at all. I'm learning like you guys, but I manage my life. I find time to my health, fitness. I find time to my family. I find time to my friends. In fact, in the next week, I'll be visiting to my first school of life. Recently, I have also visited my second school. Now I'll be doing a get together with my friends. Now imagine at the age of 42, I'm able to manage this work life. Fitness, cooking, dance, parties, everything is part of my life. And in the similar manner, business is also part of my life. So it's about the balance. So chapter number 5, onboard a mentor. The mentor will guide you. He will give you the right direction. He will show you the path. Like Krishna, he played a pivotal role in Arjuna's journey. Chapter number 6, step 3, prepare the core skill set, that is selling skill. Chapter number 7 is about, step 4 is about planning the funds before you burn out. Majority of the startups, entrepreneurship fail because they fail to manage funds. How many of you relate to this? Type in the chat box. Thanks, Sumalata. She says, thanks, Indudhara. I'm sorry if I'm not able to pronounce the names properly. Thanks, Madhavraj. Madhavrao. How can I miss the pronunciation of Madhavrao, the man who has been, responsible for this great initiative. Superb. I'm sorry, Madhavrao. Thanks a lot, everyone. So guys, step number 4 is plan your funds before you burn out. Most of the startups fail because of the cash flow, negative cash flow. There is no money. And then they keep hunting for investors. They keep chasing the banks. Then the CIBIL score is down. Then they don't get loans from the bank. Family is not there to support them. Friends don't believe in them. And now they are struggling. How many of you relate? So planning the funds in advance with the help of an expert, a business coach or a mentor, that is written in the step number 4, planning the funds. And then in the funds planning, or even in my training programs, when I work with them, I guide them. There are a hell lot of opportunities available in the market. There are angel investors, there are venture capital, then there are bank loans, there are a lot of new government schemes like Mudra loan or Pradhan Mantri Yojana. There are so many government schemes available. Question is, are you in the right environment? Question is, are you asking the help? Question is, are you taking the advice? Question is, are you meeting the right people at the right time of your life? Because I feel that's the challenge. Everything is available at every stage of your business. I can guarantee that you will be able to arrange the funds provided that you connect with the right people. But then chapter number 7 and step number 4, planning your funds, is expected when you are in the early stage of business. And then you have to keep continuing this work. In fact, I have written a lot about this part in my second book, that is Survive Your Startup. I would love to be, part of Survive Your Startup, the second book. Also, I would love to be part of your community. Madhavrao, if you guys can, arrange another session, I would love to talk about my second book as well. Where, that book is more dedicated to the business people, those who are already in the business, those who have somehow started their startup. So let's plan some time. But step number 4 is planning your funds before you burn out. Step number 5, build your core team. Believe me, guys, personally, I have played this game a lot of time alone, and it's not recommended. I understand and I value that a lot of you may not understand Hindi, but some of you from my community might have joined. You can type in the chat box if you have joined and you understand Hindi. So there is this great saying in Hindi, ek se bhale do. I will translate in English. 2 are always better than 1. 2 are always better than 1. What does it mean is, alone you can start up. Alone you can just go to some miles. But if you really want to build great businesses, you need to have team. Look at the great successes of businesses in our world. Google was founded by Larry Page, Sergey Brin. Facebook, we know Mark Zuckerberg, but it is also backed up by 4 to 5 more founders. We only know Steve Jobs and Apple, but there was Steve Wozniak and 2 more co-founders. We know Narayan Murthy from Infosys, but there was 6 to 7 more founders. And take any big company, any big success, it is nothing but a product of a teamwork. So you got to build your core team, your team. This is step number 5. I understand some of you might have questions. We are going to start the Q&A round in next 5 minutes, and then you can start asking me the questions. That is my favorite round. Whenever I have been invited to any session, personally, I love to answer the questions. I may not be the perfect one, but based on my experience of 42 years of life, 15 to 17 years of career, 10 years of training, coaching and mentoring, and almost 5 to 7 years of, corporate and startups. So based on that, I'll be, of course, based on also the books which I read. Even I read hundreds of books. I also, watch videos, and I also try to learn from the great mentors and coaches like you guys. So based on that, I'm going to answer those questions. But coming back to the point, step number 5 is building your core team. Step number 6 is validating your ideas. Biggest mistake, biggest challenge, especially if you have new ideas, if you have new product ideas. I come across with a lot of people. In fact, so before starting YourSarthi, my training, coaching and mentoring business, I was leading 111 startup as a CEO, and I have evaluated 10,000 plus ideas. My job was to evaluate the ideas. Most of the ideas people get in their mind and they start building the product, they start doing the business before validating their ideas. So step number 6, chapter number 9, that is second last chapter, is about validating your ideas. Before you even start developing that app, start working on the website, before you even start building that showroom or the office, before you hire those people, before you have to validate what is in your mind. And how do you validate? So the process and the steps of validation I usually guide in my training programs or when I work closely with my mentees, and they are also given in the chapter number 9, that is step number 6. So all those who want to read this book, the link has been shared. Please join that link, that's free of cost, and there you can approach to my team and they will guide you, they will help you. So to conclude, chapter number 10 is step number 7. 1, 2, 3, jump. Take the leap. That's the name of the chapter number 10. 1, 2, 3, jump. Take the leap. Because I have observed there are a lot of people, they read a lot of books, they even onboard mentor, they do a lot of courses, they know a lot. In fact, most of the people get overwhelmed because of the knowledge. They read a lot, they meet with a lot of people, they watch a lot of videos, they get exposed to a lot of knowledge, but they are scared. I told you the first criteria, you got to dare. So if you are equipped with these 6 steps which I told you, I will revise the steps for you. Number 1, prepare your mindset. Number 2, onboard a mentor. Number 3, prepare the core skill set. Number 4, plan your funds. Number 5, build your core team. Number 6, validate your ideas. And then jump. Once you have taken these baby steps, you have to dare. You have to take the leap. You might get that feeling when you are, doing a mountaineering, or you are, taking a jump in a swimming pool, or, that horse riding, or wherever you feel that feeling of getting scared. That feeling will be there, but you have to take the leap. You have to jump. Once you are equipped with these steps, or if you have read this book, or you have onboarded mentors like me, or you have taken some training programs, then it's time you should jump. Then you should not think. Ab sochne ka waqt khatam. It's time to do now. And then you have to go ahead. Then Hindi mein there is another kahavat, jo hoga dekha jayega. It means that then the challenges will be overcome, the problems will be solved, and then, God will support to you. So last chapter is step number 7. 1, 2, 3. Jump and take the leap. So this is about before you jump into business. I have shared brief, although I agree in the limited time, it is difficult, it is challenging to talk about the entire book. But I tried my level best to share the thoughts, what I have written in the book. And I have also tried to connect you by giving some stories, by giving some examples. But now I'm looking forward to get some questions, some queries from your side. And I have another 10 minutes where I can spend with you guys. But if in case we are not able to interact, if we are not able to, I'm not able to help you guys, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And you can also join the WhatsApp group link which has been shared with you, so that you can reach out to me and we can have a one-on-one if you need any help. If you need any help, if you want to join to any of my training programs, there are a lot of workshops going on. In fact, there is a workshop, there is a boot camp going on, business health checkup camp. The details will be shared if you join the WhatsApp group. You can be part of that. And there is a 99 days challenge where we are helping a lot of people to put a morning wake up habit, reading habit. We are helping a lot of people who, I think some of the people have joined in the chat box. So if you are from my community, you can type in the chat box. So guys, let's start the Q&A before, wasting much time. I'm looking forward. Please start the questions. Madhavrao, you can help me through the Q&A round.
Thank you, Mr. Vikrant. So wonderful, energetic session. And so this is very useful for all BSM members, because of most of the people in BSM, they always look for that new businesses, and as well as they want to become as a serial entrepreneurs. So for them, it's a very useful session. So many takeaways. Thank you very much. Mr. Prabhakar sir, room set madakene possibility idea?
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಮಾಧವ್ ಅವರ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಮಾಧವ್ ಅವರ, ಸರ್ bringing such a great mentor, coach, digital marketer, author, speaker, trainer, all in one, one in all. Can come up and ask questions, and also if there is no possibility for you to come up and speak, you can, there is always a chat option, you can ask your question. Vikrant will be happy to answer for those also. Business success mantra, ವ್ಯಾಪಾರದ ಯಶಸ್ವಿ ಮಂತ್ರ, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ 6:45 ರಿಂದ 7:55. Our objective is to collaborate, cooperate and co-create. Our bottom line is sharing is caring. Our tagline is working together works wonder. Even what is our aim, objective, goal, all put together and
So now the Q&A will start. If you're watching this video and if you have watched till here, check the details shared with this video. You can connect with me if you have any questions, any doubt. Thank you. This is Vikrant.